18, Canto 1, text 9 onwards. Okay, text 18.9. Upavarnitam etadvah punyam parikshitam maya Vasudeva katopetam akyanam yat aprachata. O sages, as you did ask me, now I described almost everything regarding the narrations about Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Parikshit Maharaj. Okay? So he has concluded all those discussions. Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of the activities of the Lord and activities of the Lord performed or in relation with devotees of the Lord. Okay, so that is Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, the history of the devotees is non-different from the history of Krishna's activities. Okay? A devotee of the Lord regards both the activities of the Lord and those of his pure devotees on the equal level, for they are all transcendental. Now you see how one should be respectful and show the same amount of devotion to their spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord's benediction may be received through the spiritual master. So that means the activities of the Lord, the activities of the great Vaishnavas are also powerful. They're all transcendental. So, will you, when Krishna says something, will you see it with a lens? Oh, is it correct or wrong? Let us disposition whether Krishna's instructions are right or wrong. No, we don't do that. Right? So, for example, in Chaitanya Charitamrita said, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. So, what does this mean? It says that Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, is non-different from Radha Krishna. So, if someone is reciting the Gaurabija mantra, they will see that whether I chant Gauranga or they chant Radha Krishna, they're non-different. Right? So, this is the position of the Lord. So, we don't differentiate or detail anything. Oh, Lord said like this is not correct, how this is correct. We don't go cross-check that. So similarly, when we hear the Srila Prabhupada's instruction, we also accept it as instructions of the Lord. In fact, Prabhupada himself in his lectures, he tells, I didn't write any of this literature. Every day in the night, when I sit down and write, Lord will come here and he'll dictate. I just write. When we say Vyasadeva is literary incarnation of the Lord, that means what? Lord in the Rupa of Vyasadeva comes and gives his knowledge. So, we accept it on equal level. And both are transcendental. Okay. Anyway, you have doubts, question, please stop me and ask me. Okay. So, let's read the next sloka. Yayaha katab bhagavata kataniyoru karmanaha gunakarma shraya pumbihi samsevayasta bhubushubihi. Translation. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. Look at, and this is 9 to 23, we are going to read all the purports. So we'll all take turns to read purports. But I want all of you to please pay attention. 9 to 23 is very important because it talks about the real position of or the activities of Shravanam and Kirtanam. One should take it to their heart and practice it in a regular, sustainable basis. Okay? So now let's read this translation again. Please pay attention. Those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life, if you feel that, hey, I want to be a good devotee, If you feel that I want to practice devotional services nicely, what you should do, it's not about you just doing services. It's not about you doing many things in Krishna consciousness. Your focus must be submissively hear all topics. Here, Shravanam. Here, all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. So, if there is authorized bona fide subjects that are describing about the Lord, one should just go on hearing. That is the point here. Okay? Can someone read the purport?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. The systematic hearing of transcendental activities, qualities, and name of the Lord, Sri Krishna, pushes one towards eternal life. Systematic hearing means knowing Him gradually in truth and fact. And this knowing Him in truth and fact means attaining eternal life, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Such transcendental glories, activities of Lord Sri Krishna are prescribed remedy for counteracting the process of birth, death, old age, and disease, which are considered to be material awards for the conditioned living being. The culmination of such a perfectional stage of life is the goal of human life and the attainment of transcendental bliss. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. So you see the importance of. So, what we should, how do we transcend in our life? Okay, what's the meaning of transcend? Transcend means moving away slowly, step by step, from material activities and thoughts to spiritual activities and thoughts. I'm using the words activities and thoughts. Okay? So, when we move from material activities and thoughts to spiritual activities and thoughts, we are transcending. That is the meaning of transcending. Okay? So, here the transcending also refers to, in a greater depth meaning, is one who is fully spiritualized is least affected by the three modes of material nature. Okay, now what are the key proponents of material nature? What does material nature do? Material nature hides the truth. It hides the truth and creates an illusion. That means we accept false as truth. Right? So, the best example, Krishna starts the Bhagavad Gita by telling that you are not this body. The first truth he breaks. But what are we thinking? Oh, we are this body. I am so and so in the society. I am materially rich. I am materially opulent. I am highly materially educated. I am this person. We are always looking at this body and identifying ourselves. But what is the truth? We are not this body. Krishna says the first sloka. The first theme that he speaks in the Bhagavad Gita is, O Arjuna, you are into bodily concept of life. That is why you are becoming a kripana. But actually you are not this body. So first illusion Krishna breaks. So now Maya has created illusion. What is illusion? Is creating that we are not this body. Sorry, we are not the soul, we are the body. It is making us to forget our creator Krishna and making us to remember other activities which is non-spiritual. It is making you to think that you are the controller, but while you are not the controller, you are a servitude. So that's what Maya does. So now, transcending this thought process that Maya has introduced into us from material to spiritual is called transcending. So is that clear now? Okay. So now we see the Lord's activities are not inflicted by Maya. That means it does not have a tinge of the influence of three modes of material nature. So when it does not have the influence of three modes of material nature, all the topics connected to the Lord, all the activities connected to the Lord is fully transcendental, completely pure. And all the devotees are surrendered to this Lord and getting empowered and then practicing on the same level are also transcendental. So that is how we conclude. So now, what are we going to do? We, by discussing these transcendental topics on a regular basis, Shravanam and Kirtanam, what happens? We also move away from material nature to spiritual in nature. That means the illusion that we are into goes away. So here it says, look at this. The culmination of such perfection stage of life is the goal of human life to attain transcendental bliss. There is no other goal. There is no goal to make material opulence. That's not the goal. The goal is to make spiritual opulence, transcendental bliss. So when one is into the path of the spiritual opulence, then what happens? There is no influence of Maya energy on him. This body that we have accumulated, we have three things with us: the spiritual entity, the subtle body, mind, intelligence, false ego, the gross body, the five earthly elements, are the composition of us. Okay. So now, why does a person take birth again and again? Because this birth means to possess material body. Why does someone gets material body? Because he gets attraction to material activities. He gets attraction to material positions. He gets attraction to material thoughts. So now, when someone transcends, no more material thoughts, no more material position, no more material activities, he is fully spiritualized. And such a person does not take birth again and again. So this is the sequence and purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? Are we very clear on the 10th sloka?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Very good. Now, once we are clear what we need to do in our life, once we are clear on a topic, what should we do in our life?
We have to follow it.
We got to follow.
That's all. Follow it, practice, implement. So, your guru, whomever your diksha you're taken from, your guru has just given you a seed for you to connect to Krishna. That's all. You take the pastimes of Narada Muni. Narada Muni came to Dhruva and he just gave that starting point. Hey, this is the route, go like this. And he disappeared, that's all. After Narada Muni came and instructed Dhruva, you will see in the entire Dhruva Maharaj life history, there is no more Narada Muni. Narada Muni is not acting anymore. It is Dhruva, by his determination of practice of devotion, he is connecting with the Lord, he perfected himself, and he went on, progressing. Same thing. You see in anyone's life, it is the same thing. The guru who gives you diksha will one day leave his body. So you will also leave the body? No. You continue to practice. Correct? So that is what is important. So, devotional life is in our hand. The baton is given to us. We have to run. It is not no more in Guru's hands. If you don't practice devotion service, you remain here. Guru again has to come to give you seed of bhakti in the next birth. So, Guru has initiated, that means he kicked the ball. He started the process of devotion in our heart. After that, we are the farmer. We have to water it, put fertilizers, nicely till and plow the land, and grow our devotion very nicely. Okay. 18.11. Rishaya uchaha Suta jiva sama saumya Shashvatir vishadam yashaha Yashtvam samsashi krishnasya Martyanam amritam hinaha. Translation. The good sages said, "O grave Suta Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal beings like us." So they're thanking Sutta Goswami for whatever he did to them. Otherwise, just like how the smoke came from the Yajnakunta, everyone is in that hazy consciousness. Oh, we don't know why this happened. We don't know the truth. And Sutta Goswami, you are instrumental in helping us to come out of this illusion. Right? Now it is left to the sages of Naimisharanya to practice devotion very nicely. So hence they are expressing their gratitude to Sutta. Okay. So someone read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Purport, Prabhu.
Read.
The systematic hearing of the
Which one are you reading? 11. When we
18
hear,
Okay.
when,
Purport. When we hear about the transcendental qualities
and activities,
and activities of the personality of Godhead, we may always remember that what has been spoken by the Lord Himself in the Bhagavad Gita 4.9. His acts, even when He acts in human society, they're all transcendental, for they're all accentuated by the spiritual energy of the Lord, which is distinguished from His material energy. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, such acts are called divyam. This means that he does not act or take his birth like an ordinary living being under the custody of material energy, nor is his body material or changeable like that of ordinary living beings. And one who understands this fact, either from the Lord or from authorized sources, is not reborn after leaving the present material body. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
such an enlightened soul is admitted into spiritual realm of the Lord and engages in transcendental loving service of the Lord. So this is what we will do after we go back home, back to Godhead. What do we do? An enlightened soul is admitted to spiritual realm, the spiritual kingdom of the Lord, and engages in transcendental loving service of the Lord. That's what we do there. So now we are in probation. When you join a company now, they'll say you probation, 6 months probation, internship. What does probation mean? Okay, we'll put you onto this job. Let us see how well you do. If you do well, you're admitted into this company permanently. If you don't do well, we'll say, no. Either we'll extend your probation time or they'll say you find another company. So similarly, during this probation time started when? When this probation time started for us? Who can answer?
When we started our conscious activities or spiritual activities.
No. Probation started when?
The day we took initiation from Guru Maharaj, Prabhu.
No, when we took human body.
Human birth.
When you take the birth.
Prabhu, in the womb itself.
No. In the human body. The womb is not the correct answer. The human body. Okay. In other material bodies, probation is not there. You're just dissipating your karma, dissipating all the desires that you had accumulated. You're just finishing that enjoyment. In the human body, probation begins. Okay. So right from birth, probation begins. And you're successful in the probation, you go through a training period. That's your training period, your initiation, your spiritual activities. So if you complete a probation with completely transcendental activities and thoughts, then you become permanently admitted into the spiritual realm of the Lord and engage in transcendental loving service of the Lord. If we fail in this probation, then we take birth again. Okay? So I remember this conversation. Prabhupada said, what if I don't come? When the devotee asked, Prabhupada, what if I don't complete my human birth, the goal of the human birth? What happens to me? He said, again, you fall down into lower animalistic life. Okay? Which is very dangerous because we don't know how many millions you have to wait. Okay, so that is one issue. Second, if you take Diksha and do not complete this human birth form of life, then what happens? You again take birth as a human being, but again Guru has to come. See, whenever Guru comes, Guru has to accept your karma. Your Parabdha karma, your Sanchita karma. And Guru has to suffer. right? Of course, Krishna protects the Guru, but from our point of view, Guru has to suffer our karma, right? So, for example, you see, Guru Maharaj today is suffering. It is not because of his karma, it is because of our karma. So, this is the point to conclude. So, that means when Guru comes again, he gives you the seed of bhakti, but he has to take your karma again. But that does not guarantee you for liberation. What's the best example? Kala Krishna Das, he was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the South India tour. The Supreme Lord, who is the epitome of purity, absolute bliss, absolute truth, everything, he's just next to you. Kala Krishna Das still got attracted to the women and he was enjoying with them. And Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, this is a big headache." Right? And he had to use his additional year to just come out of his way and pull Kala Krishna Das out of the hippies and save his life. And Mahaprabhu concludes, what does he conclude? He says, even though one is with me, that means one is with Krishna, he still can fall down. So what does that mean? It means that if we don't practice our devotion, if we don't practice our sense control, if we don't practice any of these things perfectly, we are the losers. If we keep giving excuses, you're not excusing to the Lord, you're not excusing to your Guru, you're excusing to yourself. You have to feel sorry to yourself. So, there is no compromise in practice of devotion. That's my point I'm addressing here. And the benefit is explained here. Therefore, the more we hear about the transcendental activities of the Lord, as they are stated in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the more we can know about His transcendental nature and thus make definitive progress in the path of Godhead. So Krishna says, I enlighten the knowledge, the intelligence, the path to come back to me. The more you practice devotion, the more I reveal my activities to you. The more I'll reveal the truth of the success of life to you. Just need to take it in practice. The lesser your devotion, the lesser my revelation, is what Krishna says. How? So, for example, if I took 1 gram of potash, magnesium, and sodium, I may get 5% energy in my body. Let's say if I took 2 grams of this combination, I may get 10% energy in my body. I can't expect to take just 1 gram of magnesium, potassium, and sodium and expect 100% energy in my body. Right? Same logic. If we compromise on our devotion, accordingly is the result. There ends the matter. You can give 1,000 excuses. You may have valid reasons according to you, but the system doesn't work in that manner. It is all prefixed rules. The more we give reasons, the more we are deviating from the path. Okay? Okay, now let's read sloka number 12. Karmani yashmin anasvase dhuma dhumratmanam bhavan apayayati govinda pada padma savam madhu. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its results, due to many imperfection in our action. Watch this word. Let me read this part of the translation again. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its results, due to many imperfection in our action. Our bodies have become black with smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. See, this is the position. This is the position of the devotees. Okay. So the sages are telling this to Sutta Goswami. This is our position. We are blackened with the smoke. What the smoke refers to? Ignorance. We don't know what's the truth. But by your causeless mercy, whose causeless mercy? Sutta Goswami's causeless mercy, that we got enlightened about the truth. So they're expressing that. Now let's read this purport. Read the entire purport, not just the yellow. Someone read.
Shall I, Prabhuji?
Read.
The sacrificial fire kindled by the sages of Naimisharanya was certainly full of smoke and doubts. Because of so many flaws, the first flaw is that there is an acute scarcity of expert Brahmanas able to carry out such performances successfully in this age of Kali. Prabhuji, only yellow or continue?
Full, read full.
Okay, Prabhuji. Any discrepancy in such sacrifices spoils the whole shows, and the result in uncertain, like agricultural enterprises.
Pause here. Okay. See, there's a beautiful example about agriculture. Okay, so now let's take agriculture. Now what happens? There's a land. Now I till the land, I plow it, I put some fertilizers. Then what I do, I take seeds and I put the seed. You'll see some seeds may grow, some seeds may not grow. You see in that some seed which grows, some grows properly, some grows improperly. Now I don't know how much yield I will get per plant. So you see, in our actions, the results are uncertain. We are only putting our effort. So our life is like that. But what can make it certain? What can make the result certain? What action can make the result certain? Who can answer?
Our sincere effort, Prabhuji.
Service.
Okay, that is our action.
Doing activities for the pleasure of the Lord, Prabhu.
That is our action. What will make the results of that action successful?
Mercy of the Guru and the Lord.
Yeah, mercy of Guru and Lord. So our action must be to, if I have to receive Guru and Lord's mercy, am I pleasing them? That should be our action. Okay, so now let's read further. The good result.
The good result of tilling the paddy field depends on providential rain, and therefore the result in uncertain. Similarly,
see, this is the same thing. I did all my effort. I tilled the land, I put fertilizer, and I did the right seedling. Everything I followed, but still it's uncertain. Why? Because if there's no rain, nothing will work. So the rain is the mercy of the Lord. Okay, yeah, read Mataji.
Similarly, performance of any kind of sacrifice in this age of Kali is also uncertain. Unscrupulous, greedy Brahmanas of the age of Kali induce the innocent public. So such uncertain sacrificial shows without disclosing the spiritual injunctions.
Scriptural injunction.
A scriptural injunction. And that in the age of Kali, there is no fruitful sacrificial performance, but the sacrifice of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Sutta Goswami was narrating the transcendental activities of the Lord before the congregation of sages, and they were factually perceiving the result of hearing these transcendental activities. One can feel this practically as one can feel the result of eating food. Spiritual realization acts in that way. The sage of Naimisharanya were practically suffers from the smoke of sacrificial fire and were doubtful about the result. But by hearing from a realized person like Sutta Goswami, they were fully satisfied in the Brahma Vaivatra Purana. Vishnu tells Shiva that in the age of Kali, men full of anxieties of various kinds of can vainly labor in fruitive activities and philosophical speculations. But when they are engaged in the devotional, when they are activities and philosophical speculations. But when
Well,
they
sure.
engage in the devotional service, the result is sure and certain, and there is no loss of energy. In other words, nothing performed for spiritual realization or for material benefit can be successful without the devotional service of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
That's what you said. Hmm? So all the anxieties, like the smoke that was coming out from the yajna performed by the rishis of Naimisharanya, which was cleared by the kirtanam done by Sutta Goswami and the shravanam of the Naimisharanya rishis. Similarly, our anxieties in material life in this age of Kali Yuga can be clearly taken away just by practicing devotion service. Right? So that is the conclusion. So you see the importance of hearing from an important realized person. So what we shall do, whether some guru is correct or not, some devotee is correct or not, we don't know. We shall not speculate into it. But what we shall do, for guarantee, hearing from Srila Prabhupada will give us this transcendental realization, and there's no doubt about it. So, whomever we hear, but we should hear from Srila Prabhupada every day. At least some time, half an hour. All his lectures are only 30 minutes. You can listen for one lecture a day. Okay? Okay, now let's go to next sloka, 18.13. Tulayama lavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim utasishaha. This sloka is very beautiful, so we'll read the text meaning also. Tulayama, to be balanced with. Lavena, for a moment, by a moment. Api, even, na, never. Swargam, heavenly planets. Na, nor. Apunar bhavam, liberation from matter. Bhagavat Sangi, devotee of the Lord. Sangasya, of the association. Martyanam, those who are meant for death. Who are meant for death means people who are materially inflicted. Kim, what is there? Uta, to speak of. Ashishaha, worldly benediction. Okay, now let's look at the translation. The value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot be even compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. Liberation from matter means Ayuja Mukti. There's no devotion there. It's saying, oh, I don't want to be in material world. I don't want to go through birth, death, old age, and disease. That's what liberation from matter means. And what to speak of worldly benediction in the form of material prosperity? Material prosperity means all material opulences. There are 9 opulences in material. One is highly educated, one opulence. Then possessing a lot of riches, second opulence. Third opulence is possess a lot of beauty. Okay, fantastic, beautiful body. Okay. Fourth opulence is being born in a family, great family, lineage. People say, no, oh, I'm part of this family. My family is so rich, traditionally kinged like that. Then fifth is who is in a higher position, great position. Okay. Then sixth is who's acting like a guru in the platform of materiality. That means you see there are many gurus who are material in nature, right? So maybe you can give an example. Maybe Sadgurus like that. What is that ashrama called? Sadguru's ashram? Isha. That Isha Foundation, yeah, something. So there are many gurus like that who are more materialistic in nature. They may not fully spiritual, right? So then that is 7. Then two more. Two more is
Only 6 you said.
6 I said, huh? 3 more is there. Like that, there are 9 opulence are there. I forgot the 3.
Okay.
So one could possess all these things. One could possess all these things, and then another opulence is to be born with a large number of siblings. Okay. I have a lot of sisters and brothers and having such a close knitted relationship like that. That's also an opulence, right? So like that, it explains, Chanakya Niti explains, and then you see, but all these opulence are of you, what use? Is of no use. So that is what is called as, the form of material prosperity. And he says, they're all for those who are meant for death. Huh? So that is not our goal of life. Okay, now let's read the purport. Very interesting purport. Someone read? Who wants to
Shall I
read?
read, Prabhu?
Yeah, read.
Only the yellow or the whole thing, Prabhu?
You can read the whole thing, bro.
Yeah. When there are
But
some,
read the yellow. Here you read only the yellow. Yeah.
okay, Prabhu. When there are some similar points, it is possible to compare one thing to another. One cannot compare the association of pure devotee to anything material. Men who are addicted to material happiness aspire to reach the heavenly planets like the moon, Venus, and Indraloka, and those who are advanced in material philosophical speculations aspire after liberation from all material bondage. When one becomes frustrated with all kinds of material advancement, one desires the opposite type of liberation, which is called uh, apunarbhava, or no birth, rebirth. But the pure devotees of the Lord do not aspire after the happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom, nor do they aspire after liberation from material bondage. In other words, for the pure devotees of the Lord, the material pleasures obtainable in the heavenly planets are like phantasmagoria.
Phantasmagoria. Phantasmagoria means
Phantasmagoria.
we dream, no? Daydreaming.
Fantasy. Phantasmagoria, and because they are already liberated from all material conceptions of pleasure and distress, they are factually liberated even in the material world. This means that the pure devotees of the Lord are engaged in a transcendental existence, namely in the loving service of the Lord, both in the material world and in the spiritual world.
So for a devotee, there is no difference whether he lives in the planet Earth or he lives in Goloka. Why?
Yeah.
Because his only consciousness and only activity is what? His consciousness is fully spiritual, always thinking how to serve my Lord. And what is the activity? He's always practicing devotion. The 4 stages of, or you can say 9 steps of devotion process which Prahlad Maharaj gives. That's all he does, nothing else he does. So there's no difference. So wherever this devotee is, it is Vaikuntha for him. Okay? So is this topic clear? Okay. Can someone read this yellow also?
Can I continue, Prabhu?
Continue. Devotion
Yeah.
service.
Devotional service is eternal. It has no end because it is spiritual. Therefore, since the assets of a pure devotee are completely different from material assets, there is no comparison between the two. Sutta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his association with the rishis in Naimisaranya is unique. In the material world, association with gross materialists is veritably condemned. The materialist is called Yosit Sanghi, or one who is much attached to material entanglement, women and other paraphernalia. Such attachment is conditioned because it drives away the benedictions of life and prosperity. And just the opposite is Bhagavata Sanghi, or one who is always in the association of the Lord's name, form, qualities, etc. Such association is always desirable, it is worshipable, it is praiseworthy, and one may accept it as the highest goal of life.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhu. Hare
So
Krishna.
this is the highest goal of life. There are 2 things, Bhagavad Sanghi and Yoshit Sanghi. Yoshit Sanghi means always desiring and associating with materially thinking people. Okay. And Bhagavad Sanghi means associating with devotees of the Lord. So, for example, yesterday, when His Holiness Lokanath Swami Maharaj was giving class, okay, I don't know how many of you came to temple to attend, but the class was so nectarian. I mean, if you see, Maharaj spoke for almost like 1.5 hours, maybe.
2 hours.
Maybe 2 hours, okay. In 2 hours of his pravachan, not even 1 or 2 minutes of material activities he spoke. Not even. Just focused on Krishna's instruction from Bhagavad Gita. He took many instructions from Bhagavad Gita and continuously gave us. This is what Krishna said, this is the result. This is what the Lord said, this is the result. Very brilliant. You can see from this that he's immersed his consciousness in Bhagavad Gita, immersed his consciousness in Bhagavatam. Right? So this is Bhagavat Sanghi. This is what we should be with. And you see some devotees, they will speak a lot of material topics also, their personal life, their glories. Those are not good. Here to devotees, here to katha like what was spoken by Maharaj yesterday. That is the katha you should hear. If you see some devotees speak a lot of many things on material, personal, their personal glories and things like that, stay away. That's not going to help you. You see Prabhupada, you hear Prabhupada lecture. Prabhupada will never talk about his glories. Even though he's achieved so much, Prabhupada is talking about how did all these things manifest. He gave the credit to only 2 things. First, he said the holy name. And second, simply for the pleasure of satisfying my spiritual master. That's all he said. He attributed his entire glory and success to these 2 things. That is called purity of a devotee. So, here to such lectures, here to such katha, take benedictions from such people. You hear His Holiness, I'm just taking an example. There are many excellent Maharajas are there in our temple, in our ISKCON movement. They'll only focus on Gaura Leela, they'll only focus on Krishna Leela, again and again and again. Here to those. Okay? 18.14. Yeah. So, someone, let's read the sloka. Ko nama tripyad rasavit katayam mahatta maikanta parayanasya nantam gunanam agunasya jagmur yogeshvara ye bhava padma mukyaha. Translation. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Govinda, is the exclusive shelter of all great living beings, and his transcendental attributes cannot be even measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him? So let's read the purport. Very interesting. Someone read?
Prabhu, shall I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, read.
Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are 2 chiefs of the demigods. They are full of mystic powers. For example, Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison, of which 1 drop was sufficient to kill an ordinary living being. Similarly, Brahma could create many powerful demigods, including Lord Shiva. So they are Ishwaras, or lords of the universe. But they are not the supreme powerful. The supreme powerful is Govinda, Lord Krishna. He is the transcendence, and his transcendental attributes cannot be measured even by such powerful Ishwaras as Shiva and Brahma. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the exclusive shelter of the greatest of all living beings. Brahma is counted amongst the living beings, but he is the greatest of all of us. And why is the greatest of all the living beings so much attached to the transcendental topics of Lord Krishna? Because he is the reservoir of all enjoyment. Everyone wants to relish some kind of taste in everything, but one who is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can derive unlimited pleasure from such engagement. The Lord is unlimited, and His name, attributes, pastimes, entourage, variegatedness, etc., are unlimited, and those who relish them can do so unlimitedly and still not feel satiated. This fact is confirmed in Padma Purana. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Yoginonante Satyananda Chidatmani Iti Rama Padane Shau Param Brahmadi Vidiyate. The mystics derived unlimited transcendental pleasure from absolute truth, and therefore the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is known as Rama. Okay, so now you got the real meaning of Ram. Ram
Yes.
means the mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasure from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme person Godhead is also known as Rama. So when we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, first we are telling, O Krishna, the most attractive, the all attractive, supreme personality of Godhead, Ishvara, Parama, Krishna, that Lord, you are addressing him. You are addressing him as you are the supreme, you are the supreme enjoyer, you are the supreme controller. You are addressing through his energy, Hare. Okay? You're saying, when you say someone, when you call someone, what do you say? Oh, sir. You'll tell his name. And you'll tell, oh, you are so and so, so and so, so and so in this professor, in this position, or in this organization, what it may be. And this is your current position in this organization. Like that, you describe someone and then begin his activities. Right? So, like that, Hare Krishna. Then, when you say Hare Rama, what are you saying? Oh Lord, your activities, your pastimes, your holy name is so nectarian. Just by me taking shelter of that, the pleasure that I will get, the happiness that I will get will be unlimited. And hence, Hare Rama. So, by chanting Hare Krishna and Hare Rama in a format given by our acharyas, the 16 syllables Hare Krishna mantra, what happens to us? We are seeking the mercy of the Lord and we are seeking spiritual transcendental bliss. And that's the power of this mantra. Okay? So, hence, our primeval duty to chant nicely and get its benefits is considered to be the most profitable business in this human form of life. And we should take it to our heart. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next sloka, 18 or 15. Yeah, that's okay. Okay? 18.15. Tanno bhavan vai bhagavat pradano mahattamaikanta parayanasya harer udaram charitam vishuddham shushrus satam no vitanotu vidvan. Translation. O Sudha Goswami, you are learned and pure devotee of the Lord because of the personal Godhead is your chief object of service. How did Sudha Goswami become pure? Because he kept Krishna as the center of his life. What's the meaning of keeping the center of his life? Whatever I do, whatever I think, what are maybe my activities, what are maybe my consciousness, are all around the Lord Krishna only. So he says, chief object of service. We'll have many objects in our life. Family as an object, or children as an object, opulence as object. But out of all these objects, Krishna is the chief object in our life. That means priority number one. Okay? Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, and we are anxious to receive such messages. Right? So they are demonstrating great eagerness to Sutta Goswami. Please tell us about Bhagavatam. Please tell us all the pastimes of the Lord. We want to hear them non-stop. That is their desire. And how did they get their desire? Because they heard the pastimes of Parikshit Maharaj. And they also saw that, oh, this is life. This is what great sages did. So let us follow their path. Mahajanayena gataha sapanta. right? So here it just talks about Bhagavata Saptaha and how 7 days of so the um, Sukadeva Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj. All those things are explained. Now let's read this next sloka, 16. Savai Mahabhagavata Parikshit Yena Pavarga Akyam Adarbha Buddhihi Jnanena Vaiyasaki Sabditena Beje Kagendra Dvaja Padamulam. O Sutta Goswami, please describe those topics of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Sri Sukadeva Goswami. So now they want to hear in that 7-day conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit what actually happened. Please tell us. And that is one thing. Second thing is, how was Maharaj Parikshit able to sit so focused 7 days, 7 nights? He did not say, oh, I'm feeling sleepy now, I want to go to sleep, because the topic was so eager. He did not say, okay, now it's time for lunch, let's have lunch, let's take a rest and then come back. He didn't do that. How is that? He was so determined for liberation, so determined to achieve love of Godhead. And how did he hear this topic? So there are two things. One is what was spoken and the quality of Parikshit Maharaj. Right? So both please explain us. That's what they say. Okay. So we'll just read this this purport up to this portion. This yellow here alone, because it will just tell us. Someone read this highlight.
Prabhuji, I'll
Please.
try, Prabhuji.
Please read.
Hare Krishna. There is some controversy among the students on the path of liberation. Such transcendental students are known as impersonalized and devotees of the Lord. The devotee of the Lord worship the transcendental form of Lord, whereas the impersonalized meditates upon the glaring effulgences or the bodily rays of the Lord, known as the Brahma Jyoti. Here in the verse, it is said that Maharaja Parikshit attained the lotus feet of the Lord by instruction in knowledge delivered by the son of Vyasadeva. Srila Sukadeva Goswami, Sukadeva
Goswami was also
Goswami was also impersonal. Impersonal. One second. It was not zoomed. Okay, impersonal in the beginning, as he himself has admitted in the Bhagavatam 2.19. But later on, he was attracted by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord and thus become a devotee.
Devotee. See, you see, by we constantly hearing about the pastimes and activities of the Lord, all such concepts which are non-devotional in nature, they go away. And a devotee will be perfectly fixed on the instructions of the Lord, the activities of the Lord, all other associates and relationships with the Lord. Everything will become perfect. So hence they are asking, oh, Sutta Goswami, please tell us, what did Sukadeva Goswami narrate? And what was Bhagavata Saptaha? And what was the role of Parikshit Maharaj in those 7 days, 7 nights? Okay. So you can read through the rest of the purports. Very interesting it is. Okay. 18.17. Tanna param punya asham vrutartham आख्यानाम अध्यात्भुत योगनिष्ठम आख्याहि अनंत चरितोपापनम परीक्षितम भागवता अभिरामनम. Thus please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and the supreme. They have spoken by Parikshit Maharaj. They're very dear to the pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga. Okay, so the only focus here is mainly is that word para. Where is para? Para refers to something pure, topmost, which is also supreme. Okay, now let's go to the next sloka. Yeah, we'll read 18 now. Sutavacha Aho vayam janma brito adyaham hasma vriddhana vrityapi viloma jataha daushkulyam adim vidunoti sigram mahatatmanam abhidana yogaha. Sri Sutavacha said, O God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted to birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Okay? Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualification resulting from lower birth. Okay? So this is our situation as of Prabhupada said in Kali Yuga, all people who are born are not even Sudras, lower than Sudras. By their thoughts and by their activities and by their association. So now, a great man like Prabhupada, what is he doing? He is pulling each and every one out of this dirt, out of this ignorance, and getting them to the status of Brahminical qualities. Today, many devotees are practicing so well. They're demonstrating all the qualities of a Brahmana. They have learned this transcendental subject so much. From practicing all garbage activities, now they're practicing pure devotional activities. Look at the position of Prabhupada. He did not do with one or two people. Lakhs and crores of people around the world, he was able to bring them up to the state of consciousness. So, what is considered as our disqualification is made as qualification by the mercy of the Guru. And how Guru acts? By the instructions of the Lord. This is the point. So when one devotee asks, Prabhupada, what is our real position? Prabhupada said, you don't have qualification to practice devotion. But I have given you that qualification. By that, you can practice devotion nicely. So, what has happened to us at the time of birth does not matter. But what are we doing now is what matters. Okay? So, this is the position of Acharya. This is the position of a Guru. This is a position of one who wants to practice Brahminical qualities, practice devotion service and elevate oneself to Brahminical qualities. Right? So, rather than being a friend of such a great devotee, let us become a devotee. The word Dvija is used here very significantly. The Dvija refers to a person who is twice born. Okay, what does a twice born means? When we are born first in this world to our parents, it is called seminal birth. That is birth by material bodies. One husband and one wife together for which they are born. But by birth, we don't have any qualifications. We don't have any qualification of purity or spiritual or transcendental, nothing. For example, Sukadeva Goswami, by birth only he had transcendental qualities. We'll discuss that past time when we come to the next chapter, because next chapter is only about Sukadeva Goswami in his life. Okay? So by birth only he was fully transcendental. Right? Prahlad Maharaj, by birth only transcendental. So like that you see, we are not having that qualities. But however, somewhere in our life, by mercy of a Guru or mercy of a pure devotee, that qualification was rendered onto us. Now I have qualification. What I'm doing now? I'm practicing. Right? So, our birth does not matter. The mercy and what are we practicing today matters. I cannot speak one thing and act on another thing. That is duplicity in life. We have to act what we speak. Okay? So, when we get into the realm of spiritual life, we get the mercy of a Guru, and that's we become second life. And hence, because it's a second life, your name changes, your activities changes, your relationship association changes, your gotra changes. And hence, we are all called Dvijas. But people who are good, relationship with us, our friends, our family members, so many of our people who are in relationship with us, they are seeing us, they are with us, but they're not practicing. So they become Dvija Bandhus. Okay. Just because they are with us, that does not mean they are qualified. That's what you have to understand. Okay. So let's go to the next sloka.
So what did you say? Just because they are with us?
They are not qualified.
Okay. Okay.
They have to attain qualification by their practice. Anyone can start their devotion. So, for example, your Diksha Guru doesn't come into your life day one, correct? Diksha Guru is at the time of initiation. But somehow you got association of a devotee, and somehow you got the holy name through that person. And that person, what did he do in your life? He gave you holy name. He sort of monitored you. He sort of nourished you with many practices of devotion. And he brought you to the stage of initiation. So that person becomes a Siksha Guru. Though he's not officially offering you a Diksha mantra, he just becomes a Siksha Guru. So then what happens? We take the benediction of that holy name that we received and then go and stand in front of the Guru. See, I'm practicing. I will practice in future properly. I'm ready for devotion. I know what is it. We are giving that assurance to Gurudev. And what Gurudev says, okay, good. I'll give you the Bija mantra. I'll give you the love of Godhead. Right? See, in the deity worship class also we talked about. What's the difference between Vigraha and Sri Vigraha? Sri Vigraha. Vigraha means any form of a deity which is there that we start worship. That's Vigraha. But what is Sri Vigraha? Once that deity is manifested by the presence of a Guru, presence of a bona fide Guru, then it becomes Sri Vigraha. So similarly, even though we are practicing mantra given by one devotee, Hare Krishna for 16 rounds, the quality of that mantra becomes completely spiritualized when your Diksha Guru handles over it. So that is the difference that Diksha Guru makes. So hence, the initiation awarded by Diksha Guru is something phenomenal.
Prabhu, that means if I, like in Bhagavad Gita, it says, Neha Bikraman Asosti. So if I've completed 1% in the next birth, I'll either become as a, I'll be born in a Brahmana family or in a royal family. That means I am a Dvija at that moment, no, Prabhu?
No, that's not the way I understand. It means you're an unsuccessful yogi. What is the meaning of yogi? Yogi means one who connects with the Lord in some method or the other.
Yes, Prabhu.
If you're a successful yogi, you will get liberated, go back home, back to Godhead.
Okay.
If you're an unsuccessful yogi, you made some attempts. We do not know the depth of attempts. It may be the attempts with some issues or purity, whatever it may be, but you did not go back home, back to it, so you are called an unsuccessful yogi.
Okay.
So, when unsuccessful yogi, Arjuna is asking question to Krishna, come on, I did so much. What happens to me if I don't get liberation, if I don't meet the criteria? Then he says, don't worry, Krishna. Don't worry, Arjuna. Whatever you do in devotion, even a small thing that you do in devotion doesn't go waste. It is an eternal credit in your life, permanent credit in your life.
Okay.
So that credit will give you great delivery. What is the first thing he says? He says that since you're an unsuccessful yogi, you will again be born in the human form of life. But in this human form of life, I will make an opportunity in such that either you will be born with great intelligence, or you will be born in the family of Vaishnavas, or you will be born, you will get the mercy of a Guru instantaneously. So like that, somewhere you see you are into devotion service very nicely, where you can become a successful yogi again.
Okay.
Krishna is giving that chance to us.
Okay. Assurance for us. Okay. Prabhu.
So
So I
that's
should not confuse this Dvija into that who is born now.
no. Okay.
Kuchinam Srimate Gehena Prabhu.
Yes. So when we perform devotion surveys, the results are like many things. Depends on the state of our consciousness, right? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he says in one of his poems, he says very brilliantly, he says that in this material world, in this earth, you dig any place, either in America or in Antarctica or Australia or South America or Japan, wherever you go, you dig one place. You will see that I was once buried in that place,
Okay.
my previous birth. So many times we are born, we were buried in this place. That means, he says, there is no place that is existing on this earth where I was not buried in my previous births.
So many lifetimes have taken.
Yeah. Okay. Hence, Krishna, what is the use of being born and getting buried again and again and again in this place, which is full of dukhalayam and ashashvatam, which is full of miseries? There's no point in doing that. So hence he said, oh Krishna, if at all I have to be born, please make me be born at least as a small worm, even the stool of a devotee. Still it is glorious because I'll be able to remember you.
Okay.
So we won't end the class here, but in the context, we want to read this one sloka. I will just put this one sloka, brilliant sloka, you see it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Oh, 1 second, Prabhu. Okay. See this sloka, we've already read this sloka, and are we going to read this sloka in the next chapter, but we want to show it here now. Okay, are you able to see this sloka?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
I told about what Bhaktivinoda Thakur spoke. Now I'll teach you what Maharaj Parikshit speaks. Okay. Now look at this sloka. Punascha bhuyat bhagavattanante ratihi prasangastadashrayeshu mahatsu yam upayami shrishtim maitra astu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. Look at this meaning. Again, this is when, after Parikshit Maharaj heard Srimad Bhagavatam fully. After hearing fully Srimad Bhagavatam, this sloka he made. Look at this sloka. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should take my birth again, see, after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, what does Prabhupada write? He says he's already liberated. But look at his humility of Parikshit. He still says, no, it is not that my qualification, it is a mercy of the Lord. So he says, I pray that if I should again take my birth in this material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna. That's what he's saying. If I'm going to be born again, I should be in full remembrance of the Lord, I should be attached to him. Second, I should be in association of devotees. Without association of devotees, I should never be. And I also should be Maitra. It says, no? See here. Maitra astu sarvatra namo dvijeva. So it says friendly relation with all living beings. So if there are non-devotees, I want to be just friendly with him. But with devotees, I want to have full association with him. But I want to have always full remembrance and knowledge about the Supreme Lord Krishna. If at all I'm going to take birth, this is what I desire. So this should be also our prayer. When Lord Krishna sees our prayer in this format, what does he understand? He understands our humility and our love for him. And he awards all the benedictions that we need in our life. Okay? So this is a beautiful sloka. Please note down 1.19.16. Please mug up this sloka. Okay? So we'll recite this sloka once again.
We are yet to go there, Prabhu.
We're ready to go there, but we'll recite. Because when you come there, by the time when we come, because we'll come there very shortly, when you come there, you'll be able to recite this very nicely. Okay? Punascha bhuyat bhagavattanante
Punascha bhuyat bhagavattanante
ratihi प्रसङ्गश्च
प्रसङ्गश्च
महत्सु यं यम् उपयामि सृष्टिम्
उपयामि सृष्टिम्
मैत्री अस्तु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः
मैत्री अस्तु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः.
Okay, so you can practice. This is how to recite the sloka. You can practice and you can remain in the state of Krishna conscious in a humble mode, servitude mode, loving mode. Lord says, I'm just waiting with liberation to offer it to you, but you're just denying it. Now the Lord will say, take it. Right? Okay. Okay, so we'll end here. And
We have finished up to 18, no, Prabhu. 19 we should start.
yeah, yes. 19.
Prabhu, one small question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, at Dvija we have understood. Dvija is twice born, and when we are in material world, we are with connected to all sinful actions and activities and bad karma and all that. Once we are connected to the Lord, once we are connected to spiritual life, once we are connected by the spiritual master, we will become Dvija. Right, Prabhu?
Yes, correct. Dvija.
But Dvija Bandhu, how it is exactly told, Prabhu?
Let me take an example. I'm just taking an example. Don't take it for reality. Now, let's say your brother who's living with you in your house, who's always associating with you. But even though he's with you, even though he sees you chanting, he sees you practicing devotion, he's not ready to take it up. Okay? He becomes a bandhu.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Prabhu. But
you are a Dvija.
Prabhu, in many places, even the Varnashrama, that is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, they are referred as Dvija Bandhu, Prabhu.
That's what. They are not practicing devotion. They're just friends of a Brahman.
Okay, Prabhu.
Friends or relation or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I had one doubt, Prabhu. Prabhu, somewhere I read that this Garbhadana Samskara is only the first birth. So what about all of us who have not gone through this Garbhadana Samskara, Prabhu? Are we born or not?
No, not like that. We are born. See, when we do Garbhadana Samskara, what we're doing is we're just requesting the Lord. There are many kinds of souls, right? For example, a soul who committed suicide and then took shelter of Lord Shiva. That is also a soul only. Okay. So like that, there are souls like, pure devotees. They're also souls. So when we perform Garbhadana Samskara, we are seeking mercy of the Lord. Oh my Lord, I am wanting to desire to have a child, produce a Vaishnava child. Okay. What is the purpose of production of Vaishnava child? He will spread your glories because that's the mission of the Lord. He'll spread your glories. He's practicing devotion. He'll also help the society, upliftment of the society with devotion service. So I want to have such a child. So how do I get such a child? If I get a soul who's like a ghostly and nonsense soul, then he may not be able to do because he's not realized. So if I get a realized soul like Prahlad Maharaj in my womb, then he will transform this entire world. So Garbhadana Samskara is performed to please the Lord, send a beautiful soul who can be a Suputra to the society and to me is the request. That's all.
Okay.
Garbhadana Samskara does not tell whether you're birth or non-birth. It is not a
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I have one doubt, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Our probation starts when we took birth. That point I understood. So
Human birth.
Human birth, correct.
Yeah.
When we came into Krishna consciousness, our confirmation starts, or after realizing or become a pure devotee only, probation completes. Just want a clarification.
See, your probation completes at the time of death.
Yes, Prabhu.
So at the time of death, what is the state of your mind? And whatever is your state of mind at the time of death will be your result after death.
Yes, correct.
And what are the factors that influence your state of mind at the time of death? Is your devotional activities and practice during your lifespan. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
So now, for example, if I have an animal body, I can practice devotion. So consciousness
Absolutely.
can improve.
We cannot.
Yeah. So in the human form, I can practice devotion. That means even though I was a Chandala, by practicing devotion, I can become a Brahmana.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
So devotion is the one that changes our consciousness, state
Consciousness.
or consciousness. So at the time of death, what is our state of consciousness? That determines by
All-
practices of all these years.
All these days, all this correct.
If even though we're practicing devotion, if we keep committing mistakes, if we keep offending Vaishnavas, if we keep, very being aggressive with others, then that will be the result at the time of death. So, life is about good practices and purity. Both are. These two will purify our consciousness, take us back home.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for taking Hare Krishna.
Right. Okay. Any more questions or shall we end the class here?
Prabhu, here the sages are trying to tell, they are giving us the message that how pensively they were listening to Suta Goswami. That should be our mode in our daily practice, Prabhu.
Yes.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you all. I hope all of you nourished Srimad Bhagavatam today morning. So stay in the state of spiritual bliss and enjoy
Yes,
your
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Dandavat Pranam.
jai.
Krishna Prabhu,
Prabhupada
Dandavat.
ki jai. Gurudev ki
Jai.
Jai.
jai. Premanande.
Hari Hari.
Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu
Pashindu.
patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Vaishnav Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Tat Sat. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Dandavat Pranam, Guruji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna Prabhu,
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhu,
Prabhu,
Dandavat
Dandavat
Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat. Hare
One
Krishna,
clarification,
Dandavat
Prabhu.
Pranam. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, one clarification.
Dandavat Pranam.
You send me by WhatsApp, Mataji.
Oh, okay.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.